I'd like to nominate the wonderful St Andrew's School in North Weald, and this is a lovely story by Tom Larking. It's called The Strange, an odd story of Father Christmas, which sort of takes place somewhere in Yorkshire. Day after day, old Farmer Fred would say, "There's so much to do on my farm today. There's feeding the sheep or picking up eggs, mowing the fields or help making pegs. Shall I shoe my horse or milk the cow or paint the legs on the water tower?" He'd rush around daily with lots of things to do. He had 3 wool suits and 3 pairs of shoes, one for the farming and one for best, and a pair of wellies for doing the rest. Poor Farmer Fred had many important jobs. He never stopped, and neither did his dog. Wallop, the old sheepdog, helps with tasks like rounding up sheep by running very fast, and every morning at 4:15 the alarm would ring to start the day's chores, sweeping out the barn and feeding the hens, putting all the chickens back in their pens. Meanwhile, there's a letter sitting on the mat. It's franked "Very urgent" and "Do not send back." In it were instructions on how best to send 100 million presents worldwide, end to end. Why send it here? This was not the North Pole. Wallop's not a reindeer, and I'm far too old. There's been a disaster in Santa's North Pole. All the banks are bankrupt and he's on the dole. With no money left for making dolls or toys, there'll be no gifts for good girls or boys. We need a new Santa, and no one else will do. That's why I'm writing to your dog and to you. Please plant presents and make something new. Grow some soldiers and a rocking horse or 2. Build plenty of puzzles and fun things and games. Pretty Christmas dolls, all with pretty girls' names. Use this magic fairy dust and make a new sleigh. Deliver 1 billion gifts and deliver on Christmas Day. Farmer Fred wondered just how to begin without any magic. Just some seeds in a tin. A lack of special helpers, no pixies or elves. No great workshop, dwarf tools and bells. All he has is Wallop and his old farmhouse. He asked Mrs. Farmer and Theodore the Mouse. P.S. I enclose some dust as it makes my magic work. Just sprinkle, make a wish, but first a little word. Be careful with this stuff. It's very, very magical. Save some for Christmas Eve and avoid animals. Use very sparingly, especially on your dog. You don't want him turning into a chicken or a frog. Mixing the magic dust with the seeds in the tin. He'd grow 1 billion presents if planted very thin. He'd need a magic truck and a bright Santa suit. He would modify the tailgate and a delivery chute. Fred worked without stopping for days on end, planting every field, every corner and every bend. It was Christmas Eve and things began to grow. All you could see was row after row after row. But where were the dollies, the 12-inch toy GIs? There were only trees, all 1 foot high. Fred would have to deliver them. He had no choice. There'll be many unhappy, sad girls and boys. But magic occurred on that holy night of nights. With millions of pots, his contraption took flight. From old Land's End to the Outer Hebrides, Fred and old Wallop delivered some 12 million trees. In the morning, when the children went downstairs, they found a tall tree covered in magical wares. There were gifts for the girls and gifts for the boys. There were sweaters and games and homemade toys. No plastic or packaging, no waste and no wrapping. There were soldiers in rows and teddy bears clapping. The children were full of real warmth and cheer. You see, the Christmas spirit had returned around here, and they all lived responsibly and happy ever after. And year after year, the Christmas spirit filled the house. The end. What a lovely Christmas story.